1, 2, 3.
They say a crocodile is most vulnerable after he eats. You know, I'm like a shark that's hungry and just got a taste of blood for the first time. So Randy Orton should be very worried.
Hello and welcome to Kayfabe Is Dead Podcast, episode 17. Wow, I always have to look up these numbers before I say the actual episode. And it kind of just amazes me how many episodes it is already. I mean, I know for like my basketball podcast, the Triangle podcast, and the MMA one, First Strike podcast, which you can find on this channel, by the way. I'm already about to reach those numbers, and that's just due to the fact that I can, since I'm by myself, I don't have to rely on anybody to get here. And the whole point, the whole mishaps with those is that me and the folks never meet up, and we aren't able to record some weeks, and that kind of hinders us. We only have 2 days that are the possibility, so if we can't record in those 2 days, we can't do it at all. But that doesn't stop this podcast. It might come out on a Wednesday, it might come out on Thursday. Today I'm recording Wednesday, just got home from work. It's about to be, I think, 10 o'clock? 9:30. It's 9:30, and I am ready to talk some WWE. Specifically, to be honest, SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was a great show this week. Monday Night Raw, not so much. I think I'm going to breeze through that, but I always say I'm going to breeze through Raw, and I never do. And honestly, I spend a lot of time just trying to figure out what the hell happened, and trying to remember them off my notes, and try to just get it together and go through the moments fluently. But truthfully, I'm not going to talk too much about Raw. I'm going to keep it short with Raw. I'm going to try very hard to, as I'm already going on 2 minutes. It's crazy how fast time goes by. I wish you guys really knew. But nevertheless, before I want to get into my Raw SmackDown review, I want to not talk about something. I just want to give my condolences to Matt and Noah, part of that big family. Rosie in wrestling. He was part of a few crews, mainly the 3-minute warning, and he unfortunately passed away. I forgot what day exactly. I think it was Monday Night Raw. So it was this Monday, and it was due to congestive heart failure. And it's another sad wrestling death. He was only 47 years old, and these deaths just keep piling up. I thought last year was a bad year for deaths, and it's just getting worse, and they get younger and younger. And my condolences to him, his family, his huge family. I'm sure it's taken a big toll on him. It's him, Rikishi. I mean, just in the past years alone, two members of that big, huge Samoan family, and it's a shame, and it's unfortunate. Obviously, it's Roman Reigns' brother, for those of you who don't know. So maybe cut Roman Reigns a little more slack. I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, I wanted to give my condolences and, all that. I don't know how to describe it. My RIP, it's another unfortunate death in the wrestling industry, and what's still a shit year. I mean, we from main stars to Jan Ross to Rosie, and we're only, what are we in, April? 4 months in? It's not getting any better. I mean, there was 1 week where I think 3 people passed. I mean, this week alone is dealing with a whole bunch of deaths with Aaron Hernandez just committed suicide today. We had that fucked up human being who Facebook Lived himself. I'm not going to get into that. It's just a fucked up year. And I'm not trying to talk too much more about this. So, I don't know. How do you do a proper transition into Monday Night Raw? And it's hard. It's very hard. So, just WWE did, I can do it like that. Monday Night Raw did start with Rosie getting a little shout out, the little picture in memory of. And that's how Monday Night Raw started. In the very beginning, after that little, I don't know what to call it, the picture, the slide. After that, we had Braun Strowman come out, who got reactions like the biggest face of all time, biggest face ever, announcing that Roman Reigns will not be there today, well, at Monday Night Raw, I should say. And then Kurt Angle comes out announcing that because what Strowman did, he should be suspended. He shouldn't be in the building today, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to kick him out, but Roman Reigns will get a shot at Braun Strowman come Payback. And when he announced this, Braun Strowman, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but Braun Strowman did an awkward... I think Kurt Angle said, yeah, and he will get his match at Payback. And Braun Strowman immediately said, what? I will destroy him at Payback. It was very weird. And almost like he lost character and tried to be somebody else. But I can't give flack, I guess, because it was a very weird and quick moment. Strowman basically is banned from the whole show, and, he gives his or else. Just Strowman's looking like a badass. I love it, personally. I really think when the show went off air, it cemented in my head, and Strowman is my favorite thing on Monday Night Raw. Truthfully, he might be one of my favorite things in all of wrestling. He might be my favorite thing in wrestling in general right now. I can't go that far, but he's damn near up there. The guy is a beast. He's getting built like a beast. And I feel that WrestleMania was a big road. It was a big speed bump. What is it called? Roadblock? That's what it was for him. It was unfortunate, but he pushed right through it. And he's an absolute monster. And I just hope this doesn't end with him losing to Lesnar to make Lesnar look strong so Lesnar could lose to Reigns. No, I really hope they understand that they got some potential here. And we know Vince loves them big men, so okay, let's make this happen. Because I remember I did my power rankings. And let me see if I still have them. I put Braun Strowman number 5 in my non-title power rankings. That was before he had the belt. That was before Randy Orton Randy Orton didn't have a belt. Kevin Owens didn't have a belt. I might have to redo these power rankings. I'll probably do it after what's the pay-per-view called? Backlash. I'll probably do it after Backlash. And Braun Strowman might be number 2. He really might be number 2. AJ Styles and Roman Reigns are the only people I think are ahead of him if we're talking about just booked-wise. He's really being booked like an absolute monster, and I'm eating it up right now. But as far as this show goes, he was basically not allowed to participate in action. He didn't have an opponent for the night, whatever the case is. Next up, we had Samoa Joe defeating Chris Jericho via Coquina Clutch. Seth Rollins was at the commentary booth. Nothing to really talk about. It was just Chris Jericho tapped out. It was a pretty solid match. It was a Raw match, but I'm not gonna talk about how every spot in the match, but it's just setting up the Rollins and Samoa Joe feud, which let's hope the feud itself hasn't really provided much for me, truthfully. It hasn't really done anything for me at all. Let's hope that the match just is better than the whole thing. And I really think it can. And they could build a better story around this due to the fact that Samoa Joe did really injure Seth Rollins and he could have missed another WrestleMania because of it. So I think we should put better booking into this, which I don't know if we will because I think next week is the go-home show. And just have a hell of a match come that Sunday. So that's what we could hope for. Let's see if we actually get it. We also had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson coming down to get their next opponents, their next wrestling match. And we see Golden Truth. It looks like they're going to be their opponents, unfortunately. Actually, fortunately, because Strowman destroyed them, doing us all a favor. I remember before, when Golden Truth was walking down, I think Michael Cole was hyping it up to be, it was like a shake-up, and a match that's going to be very important come title contention. No, it's not. It was going to be a whatever match. But Strowman did us the favor by destroying them, absolutely mauling them, and it was beautiful. Thank you, Strowman. What we did get instead was an actual, surprisingly good match with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows against Enzo and Cass. I enjoyed this match a lot. Now, the ending was a little convoluted. It was a little, I don't know what was happening, because we never really see Carl Anderson's finisher alone, because he always loses the goddamn one-on-one matches to Roman Reigns. But let me not get off topic. What he used for his finisher move, I guess in this case, he picked Enzo up and threw his knee into the turnbuckle and rolled him up. I don't know. It was weird. The finish was all right, but the match overall was pretty good and one of the better matches of the night. So, props to this match. I don't know what's next for the club. I think we need to get Finn Balor in there. I think we need a new switch up, because I think getting Finn Balor in the club could get the club out of the tag team division without being out the tag team division. It could give them something, because when you're a tag team, obviously your goal is for the championship. So if you have him join the club, your goal could be something else. So it'll give a different goal to the club than what they have now, if that makes sense. Because what the club is doing now is they're not going to touch that championship for a while again. The Hardys, the Hardys are going to hold on to that belt for, I would think, a long time until the right group comes to take it away from them. So Enzo and Cass as well. They're going to be just in the midst of nothing. So they got to figure out what they want to do. And they really got to figure it out fast, because this tag team division, as strong as it may look, we just lost Dash Wilder? Yeah, Dash Wilder in the Revival. He's going to be out till I think I heard July. And that was going to be that match alone is a match I would love to see. And that's taken away from us now. So we're going to have to live with a tag team division without him for at least 2 months. So, very interested to see how they're going to handle this. Get well soon, Dash. Because you honestly are... The Revival is one of the greatest things in wrestling as well. They probably are my favorite thing in NXT, along with DIY. The tag team division as a whole is my favorite thing in NXT. But to get off topic with that, let's talk about the Miz TV segment. And he said, all of Miz promos, as much as a heel, quote-unquote, he just tells it how it is. Told it how it is to John Cena. And now Ambrose was the guest this time. And he said how much he devalued the championship, the Intercontinental Championship, since he beat The Miz for it. And that's very true, because The Miz had that championship so high and made that belt feel so important. And I kind of forget Dean Ambrose is the champion now. I absolutely forget he's the champion now. I completely forgot he beat Miz for it. I was trying to think the last podcast, I was like, did Miz and Ambrose feud? And I was like, yeah, they had to. I think that's who he beat for the belt. So, I don't even remember their matches. So, if we're getting another Ambrose and Miz feud, let's just say, please make it memorable. Something that I could, hold on to in my long-term memory. We got a short-term memory. I'm trying to get into psychology right now because I'm not going to my class tomorrow. Therefore, I can't put this on YouTube up Thursday. It's going to be on Friday. So, sorry about that. But I will have this on SoundCloud Thursday. I act like you guys are listening live. Anyways, speaking of, I can get off topic real quick. I'm doing a speech on why wrestling is an art come Friday. I'll let you guys know how that goes come next week. And my difficulty I'm having it right now is it's supposed to be persuasive, and I guess I'm talking about it in an informative way, so I got to make it more persuasive. I wish I could perform the speech for you now, but it's going pretty good. I got to finish it up tomorrow, put some final touches on it. Let's hope. College is almost over, so that means I can bust out as much podcast as possible. It looks like EJ is damn near on his way here very soon, which is my friend that I first inspired me to do this podcast with him. And he needs to come over just to do some more episodes with me, because we could bust out a whole bunch of episodes while he's here. I would love to do that, but let me not get too off topic, I should say. But back to this Miz TV segment. It was real. It was real, and Ambrose didn't like it. Ambrose took off his jacket, folded everything nicely. I did like how he did all that. And they started scrapping a little bit. Ambrose didn't get the chance to hit his dirty deeds. Miz kind of left unscathed. Does look like that's the feud we're going to have going into Payback. I think that's pay-per-view rat, not like I already mentioned it. So looking at the Payback card right now, we got... I can't... let me talk about the next... Or, no, it's not even next, damn it. Alright, well, I'll just mention it. We got Bayley versus Bliss. Very interesting match. I think that's going to be great. We got Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, who, I mean, they already had 2 matches before. Definitely it's time to add a stipulation into it. Maybe an ambulance match, a stretcher match, no disqualification, falls count anywhere, something. I say we end Payback with them 2 fighting in a falls count anywhere, and let them go. Let them go out the building. Let them go throughout the arena. Let them wrestle. Give them a real falls count anywhere, if not a stretcher ambulance match. We have that match. We have Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. We have, what else did I mention? The tag team match, Hardys versus Cesaro. This is looking like a stacked B-card pay-per-view. And I'm very excited for this pay-per-view. Not because of the booking or anything like that, because the Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton booking is trash. The Roman Braun booking is great just because of that segment last week. Bliss versus Bayley, we haven't seen the booking of it yet, but that's an intriguing match off it alone. Hardys and Cesaro have been booked pretty good. So, I mean, and we got another cruiserweight match with Neville and Austin Aries, which is going to be what I'm talking about next, as the cruiserweight segment for the day was TJ Perkins versus Jack Gallagher. And we had special appearance from Neville. Then Austin Aries came out saying a more specialer appearance. They both sat on ringside. I thought it was pretty funny because Austin Aries tried to get his chair close to Neville. Neville moved it away. It was a whatever match. Cruiserweight match, as far as that goes. At least a WWE Cruiserweight match. Not like Cruiserweight Classic. But the way it ended was Perkins threw Gallagher, whatever you want to call him, into Austin Aries. Austin Aries got up, tried to tried to interfere in the match. Neville sideswiped him, leading into Perkins getting the detonation kick, pretty sure it's called, on Gallagher, and he wins. So it definitely looks like Perkins and Neville is something that's going to happen, and I like this. I think it's something new, and I'm very excited for it, truthfully, because we needed something new with Perkins in general. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and what I think I want from it is Neville protegeing Perkins and just keep it out of the protege mid-level, but have Neville stay dominant with it. And if we do get the chance to see Perkins maybe show some signs of greatness, have him, beat the master, or if anything, just have Neville defeat the protege. And because Neville is a godly figure when it comes to this cruiserweight division. And in order to retain that godly figure, you must win. So I think having Perkins as his little henchman, as his little, what is it called, caddy, it could help make the Austin Aries losses not look as bad. Austin Aries need to stay strong, we know that, but Austin Aries should not get the title yet. So it's a good way to kind of breeze off that Austin Aries feud. I think they should still have a good match come Payback, and I think they will. But I like the direction they're going with the Perkins and Neville right now. It was much needed for Neville. I mean, much needed for Perkins, I'm sorry. Update. Strowman destroyed another wrestler. It was Kalisto this time. I don't know what Kalisto was doing. The camera just cut to Kalisto being dragged out and literally thrown in the trash. Thrown back into SmackDown Live. Well, I'm not SmackDown Live. I'm not going to call SmackDown Live trash. But he should have been thrown back into SmackDown Live. Yeah. Kalisto. What a joke. What a joke. Why did they get rid of Sin Cara? They should have just made them a tag team again. It's comments for last week's podcast. But I talked about segment for a reason, because Big Show ended up coming out and plowing through Strowman, saying the cliche, why don't you pick on someone your own size? And then they have a match that's announced for later that night. So I want to talk about that match already. And you know what? Let's talk about it. Fuck everything else. Let's talk about it. I said I was gonna breeze through Raw. My ass. I never breeze through Raw. The match of the night, the match of the week, was between Braun Strowman and The Big Show. Dare I say it was better than their first match, which I love their first match. This match was amazing. I think I'm gonna put their first match and this match just in one kind of category, in one setting. This match, Braun Strowman really improved. He really progressed, and that's why he's becoming one of my favorites. He was showing technical wrestling. He was doing drop kicks, kip-ups. There was power slams. There was choke slams. Braun Strowman broke out of the knockout punch. And if you know what the knockout punch is, it's one of the most protected finishers in all of WWE. Believe it or not. One of the most protected finishers. Not many people break out of that. Not only was it a knockout punch, Braun Strowman was coming from either the mid or the top rope. I want to say mid. I don't think he gets to the top rope. But he broke out of the knockout punch. And after this incredible match, which you should really see for yourself, because I'm never a big fan of two giants going at it. That never intrigued me from, well, I can't say Undertaker and Khali, because that's a terrible example in general. Undertaker, Kane, no, the old matches are great. But Kane's an exception because he's the overall great wrestler. But Big Show matches in general. Big Show's, I don't think he's a great wrestler. I don't think he's a great wrestler at all. And Braun Strowman, what can I say? If you put on a great match with Braun Strowman, that's saying somebody's a really good wrestler. And I think it is Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman put a hell of a match. And how the match ended, even better. So they got on top of they got to the top rope maybe 2 times, and they teased the superplex over and over and over, and then the third time we had Braun superplex Big Show, and this was the best ring collapse I ever seen. Looked like the most brutal one. The referee flew the hell out the ring. John Cone flew out the ring. Made it. He sold that beautifully. Or, well, I don't think he sold it. I think he really got his whole life earth-shaked. But beautiful. And nothing more I could say. It was an awesome match. And it was an awesome segment to Raw. The best segment on Raw for 2 consecutive weeks included Braun Strowman. And not only did Braun Strowman break the ring, he got up, raised his hands, and walked out on his own 2 feet. He's a monster. He's one of my favorite things going on right now. And it's hard to talk about something so engaging like that and then kind of finish the rest of the show. But I think the last hour of the show is pretty good. Okay, I don't know. This show is okay. The 2 hours really affects the 3 hours really affects it. Because I thought SmackDown was a near flawless show. And I thought the show was a very boring show. But it had the Braun Strowman moment. It had the women's match that I'm going to talk about next, actually. And then it had a good match with Enzo and Cass. So, I mean, what SmackDown has? Three matches usually? 4 matches? That's perfect for Raw. If we were just to have, let's say 4 matches. If we were only supposed to have the whole show in general, I should say. If we were to have the Enzo and Cass match, we could keep the Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho match. Keep the Strowman brawls. Miz TV works. The women's match, and then the main event. We could have got rid of the Cesaro Jeff Hardy, save it for another week. It sucks because, we got to give the cruiserweights time, but it's just 3 hours. It feels like 4, it feels like 5. 3 hours of Raw is really a drag. And they might be able to utilize the time better, but I don't even think they could keep a wrestling fan's attention for that long. For pay-per-views, it works because pay-per-views are something you're engaged to. But as far as watching Kurt Hawkins take on Finn Balor, it's not with it. Not with it. And I'm not talking about that match either. I'm not talking about Bray Wyatt. I'm talking about Bray Wyatt ass shit. I'm tired of Bray Wyatt ass shit. Anyways, next, probably the second best match of the day, we had Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James versus Nia Jax for the number one contender. We had pretty good storytelling. We had a pretty good match. We had Alexa Bliss avoiding Nia for the most part, but Nia looked like an absolute monster. At the end, we had Bliss and Banks face off. Matchup that we probably seen in NXT, but when Bliss was a jobber. A matchup that we haven't really seen, and a matchup that would be very enticing and very good. And it got a huge pop from the crowd. I was on my feet. Not on my feet. I was watching as it was laying down. But you know what I mean? Theoretically speaking, I was on my feet. And it made for some intriguing television. But after a Samoan drop on Banks, and then Bliss kind of threw Nia out the ring or kicked her out, Bliss pinned Banks. And now we got Bliss as the number one contender. I already spoke about this earlier. I think it's a good direction, and I like it. I'm digging it. We also had Cesaro versus Jeff Hardy, which was a dream match, truthfully. But it looks like Jeff Hardy lost a step. Maybe he lost a step, or maybe it was a lack of communication. I wasn't really feeling the match, truthfully. I hate to say it, but I really wasn't. We had a Twist of Fate, which I think Cesaro might have botched the landing of it because it looked stunner-like. It was like a twist of stunner. I think this is the second time he did this too, so for their match come next Sunday as well, prepare for that Twist of Fate because you're going to lose. But now to the A show, SmackDown Live. And I feel truthfully it gets that A show grade because just the time of it. And I think we all know this by now. The 2 hours is a beautiful thing. And it's a perfect amount of time for wrestling. Maybe even 1 hour. But let's not get a little crazy. We do need something to happen. Sometimes I wish SmackDown was 3 hours. And this SmackDown particularly I watched with no commercials. Because I watched it. I had work. So I had to watch it after. And beautiful with no commercials. Oh, God. Love it. Just shows you if they had like a network instead of USA, it might really be fun because SmackDown Live I feel like has commercials every 2 goddamn seconds. But let's talk about it. It started with Charlotte coming out asking why she hasn't got a title shot yet. It's been a whole week. And she hasn't got her title shot. So what's taking so long? Naomi comes out, straight decks her. Then Shane comes out, announces a match, and if Charlotte wins, Charlotte will get a title shot come next week. A brawl ensued, and let's talk about the actual match. Actually, before that, let's talk about what happened backstage. I'm not really going to go in order, per se, in this one. I'm going to just keep talking, because SmackDown, I'm going to talk whatever hits my brain. So we got Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella backstage, arguing who really deserves the title shot, and Natalya says they're going to talk about it. Now, how I would do it is have Charlotte win the match that happened, as they did. Charlotte versus Naomi was a pretty good match. It looked like the chemistry was a little off, but also I could tell with their height differences. Naomi's much shorter and Charlotte is much taller. Some of the moves that Naomi was trying to hit, it kind of was awkward. Now, Charlotte would have to bend down for Naomi to hit a Hurricanrana and whatnot. Things such as those. But Charlotte ended up winning by Naomi going for the rear view. Charlotte kicked her back, put her in a natural selection and won. But what I would do with Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella, I like it. I like that they threw this in because it sparked an idea in my head. And every time I get our idea sparking, that means you're doing something right, but it also means WWE is not going to do it right. So what I would do is have Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella show a little bit of jealousy. So next week on their match, Charlotte versus Naomi, as the match, let them put on a good match. Let them put on a great match. then before it can finish, have Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella destroy the whole ring up. They tear the whole ring up. Not, you know what I mean. They destroy these females. They absolutely brutalize them. Making Naomi and Charlotte, temporarily at least, team up and have to work together to take down these forces. Now, this brings Becky Lynch into the mix. We have Becky Lynch come into the mix and is on, the Charlotte and Naomi side. We kind of eventually turn Charlotte face out of this, and we have Becky turn heel. We could have a Becky and Charlotte feud, and that kind of cements the double turn. And I like it. I think Becky turning heel is something good. And as much as I like Charlotte as a heel, that SmackDown roster needs faces. And I know it's kind of, all right, we're trading a face for a heel. But Becky Lynch as a face, we haven't really seen too much of her as a heel. And I think we need a new Becky Lynch character to keep that character going in general. So I definitely think she should get a nice heel turn on the horizon. That's what I would do next week. At least, where I started the beginning of it as. I'm going to do a lot of fantasy booking for SmackDown, because SmackDown gives me the energy and it gives me the sparks needed to fantasy book and to think of these dream situations. Another dream situation. We had a 6-pack challenge to determine the number one contender come whatever SmackDown's next pay-per-view is. It might not even... I think it's Backlash. Yeah, I think it's back. I don't know what the hell it is at this point. Anyways, we had Sami Zayn versus Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper versus Dolph Ziggler versus Mojo Rawley versus Eric Rowan. 6-pack challenge. Whoever is pinned first, whoever gets the first pin wins. It was a great match. Truly was. But it showed how slim the roster was. Because going into it, you're like, all right, well, Harper, I don't know if he's going to fight Orton again. And also going into this match, I was at work and EJ texted me saying, I can't believe this. And then I was like, do not spoil it for me. And he said, all I can tell you is I don't understand WWE's logic. And I initially knew it was going to be this match. And I thought for sure Mojo Rawley was going to win. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Not this guy again. Not him again. But we had a pretty good match, but it did show how slim the roster was. We had 2 superplexes at almost at the same time. Then we had Zayn do what is it called? I can't think of it right now. But the powerbomb, with the sunset flip powerbomb. We had a Ziggler super kick on Harper, which he no-sold and hit him with the lariat. Harper did 2 suicide dives. His potential was really shown in this match. It was through the roof. It was ridiculous. I wish he was boosted up to the main event scene. Well, at least the main mid-card scene. I feel like he's not even mentioned in that. But we had spots galore. Mahal pinning Ziggler after Mojo hits his finisher. I thought that was going to be the hit there. We had a great showing from Sami Zayn. But as Sami Zayn... at one point, I thought Sami Zayn was going to win. And I thought maybe EJ was just talking about another situation of the night. But Sami Zayn was set up in the corner for his Aluva kick on Jinder Mahal. And then 2 people grab his feet. Each of his feet. And Jinder Mahal ends up pinning Sami Zayn. Jinder Mahal is the number 1 contender. A lot of people hate this. It's cliche to hate it. Me? Unpopular opinion time. I loved it. I love Jinder Mahal winning. Ironically, I was listening to Solid Monster's last podcast as this, I think before, I was listening to Solid Monster's podcast before I started my SmackDown live showing. And he had a question saying, you think Jinder Mahal would ever reach main mid-card potential? Main mid-card potential. And he basically said no. And then he wins a number 1 contender title shot. I like it. I like it a lot. Because it could build up a new stable with the Bollywood boys who interfered and Jinder Mahal. Have a stable that we needed and maybe even a tag team that we needed. It builds up. I know that Jinder took a lot of losses. To be fair, he lost to Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, I think Chris Jericho, Finn Balor. Like, it was not to bums. Took a lot of losses, yes. But we could build him back up on SmackDown. We need more main. I mean, you've seen this was the people fighting for the number one contender spot. And this was basically their whole roster, excluding AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, that you could kind of take serious. So it's showing you a lot. Okay? And we need one of these people to be built up. And I'd rather Jinder than Mojo Rawley, if we're being completely honest. So the fact that he got a stable around him, I could deal with. The fact that he had an interview after, and it was instant heat, I could deal with. The fact Jinder Mahal looks like a monster, jacked out the ass, and he's, I think, 6'5". I could deal with. So, you know what? I don't hate it. I do, in fact, love it. And obviously, he's not going to win. What I would do is, I don't know what I would do. I would have him be built, be a credible figure. Eventually get credible in this SmackDown Live division with a pretty good stable. Bollywood boys, I have seen some of their matches. They're a decent tag team. They could work. You could build a whole stable around them. And we could get something going. And when Rusev comes back as a face to defeat Jinder Mahal. Instead of getting that proud American moment, get Rusev that moment. Have him dominate. And we want to cheer Rusev as a face anyways. And I think if he's by himself, if he doesn't have Lana, which is most likely leaning towards, he's better off as a face. Because we've seen he's actually pretty funny. And he got enough skill in the ring to prove that he's not something to laugh about. So I like it. Me personally, what I would have done, as I said, I'm going to dream book, fantasy book. I would have had Ty Dillinger in this match, and I would have had Ty Dillinger win. Then the build-up, I think they got 6 weeks till Backlash, maybe 4 weeks, I'm probably gassing it. It's probably 4 weeks to Backlash. The build-up could be, Ty, you didn't win too much in NXT. You never got a chance at the championship. You never won the championship. How are you going to do it on the main roster? He could just say, with the faith of my fans, with the faith of this, I know what I did in NXT, but this is a new place to start. This is the land of opportunity, blah, 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 blah. You have him as the empathetic babyface. And then we have Orton face him. And Orton turns heel. Ty Dillinger is one of the biggest faces on SmackDown Live. Gets the biggest reaction. Randy Orton should probably turn heel anyways. It's a good moment to turn him on Ty Dillinger. I fantasy book a lot of heel turns, I'm saying. But, so have Ty Dillinger turn heel and lose the match. They could put on a pretty good match. I think they can. I like their styles contrasting. Have Ty Dillinger lose, obviously. And Kayfabe injure him. However he wants to do it, that's whatever's choice. Then we have the next feud with AJ Styles, of Randy Orton and AJ Styles. AJ Styles beats Randy Orton for the title. And whether you wanted to wait till after Randy Orton's rematch, or just right after Randy Orton loses the title, have Ty Dillinger come back out after maybe a month off of TV. We don't have to have the title at the next pay-per-view, the rematch clause at the next pay-per-view. We could have it at the next show, whatever. Have Ty Dillinger come back. And at this point, it's probably around SummerSlam. You figure if he waits out a month, Backlash is in, I'm pretty sure it's in May. He waits out a month. He misses June. He comes around July. I think SummerSlam's in July. So, it's right around SummerSlam. We have a SummerSlam match with Randy Orton and Ty Dillinger. And we have Ty Dillinger win. It's not for the title, but he gets a big win that puts him into the upper mid-card. And then we can have him mess around with whoever the United States champion is at that time. I think that's a good way to get Ty Dillinger his credibility. It's a good way to show that he's not a jobber. And it's a good way to show that really his push on SmackDown isn't what he was on NXT. He got a gimmick that's insanely over, and this could work. So, I like it. I like it a lot. Obviously, I like it a lot. I'm booking it. Tell me what you think about that. Do you guys like that? How would you do it? Do you like Jinder Mahal winning? I guarantee you don't. But it's okay, because people got to be built up somehow. How are we going to take them serious? Next up, we got, basically done with the show. And this was the only down moment on the show, and it was American Alpha versus the Colones. They're not the Shining Stars anymore. They are the Colones. The Colones won in a very quick and easy match. It didn't really show me much, but the Colones needed the win. And I'm glad that, you know what, if they're going to be put into a match and they're going to if they're going to be on SmackDown, at least, you know, the Shining Stars gimmick is done. It was a waste of time to begin with, and they're not whatever they were in, what were they called when they had the Bull Los Luchadors? I don't even think that was their name. I don't know where the hell I'm putting that at. Matadors. Some shit like that. I'm glad that's done. So you know what? Build them up like this. And interesting, WWE just posted on their channel very recently Carlito and somebody defeating the world's greatest tag team. So, Carlito? I would love to see Carlito come back. And then look at that, another faction. And we add more into the tag team depth, along with the New Day. If we had Carlito and the Colones, I guess, as a whole, feuding against the New Day, that might be something I like. We could have Carlito bring back his spit in the face and do it to Kofi or Xavier Woods, and that would be hilarious. I would love that. Keep fantasy booking. I keep saying fantasize too. Anyways, just ideas flowing in my head. Kevin Owens is back to being the Kevin Owens we love. Destroyed a jobber. Cutting Kevin Owens-like promos from NXT. It's great. He had a Face of American Open challenge. I forgot who he faced exactly. The guy was from Louisville, Kentucky. Then we had our main event. Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles, and another great main event. Very solid main event. I still think the six-pack challenge was a little better, but that's a match that's supposed to be better with all of its spots. But we had AJ get flipped onto Kevin Owens, as Kevin Owens was on commentary. And this led into, they were kind of brawling outside, Baron Corbin and AJ Styles. This led into a phenomenal forearm from the apron to outside with Baron Corbin falling over the barricade. And he got a 10 count. And AJ Styles won via count out. I was trying to think of what it was. And I'm excited. As all hell. I think that AJ Styles and Kevin Owens is going to be a great feud. Can't wait for it to get going. And SmackDown was great. It was amazing. I loved it. Damn near every second, besides the 3 minutes wasted on the American Alpha and Cologne match. The Colognes. Fucking great show. I don't know what else I could say. And I think I'm ending here. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. The Hardys are trying to get their Broken Hardy gimmick, and I think it's looking good. I think WWE is trying to buy out or do something of the sort. What else news was there? Any recent news? I can't really think of too much. Not at all. So, very excited. Did somebody get injured? I talked about that. Dash Wilder. Very excited. WWE, at least SmackDown's looking good. This Payback pay-per-view is looking good. Can't wait for that. And overall, just since the Superstar shakeup, since the day after Mania, I'm kind of getting a little bit of energy back of being a wrestling fan, so I'm digging it. Digging it indeed. With all that being said, guys, you let me know what you think of everything I said. Give me your criticism. That's cool. I'll take it into consideration, and I just want to know somebody's listening, and somebody is really. I got some fans out there. I like to hear that, and you're more than welcome to ask me any wrestling related questions. If you want to ask me questions that aren't wrestling related, maybe I'll answer them, depending on how crazy, I guess. But thank you guys for all the support. My WrestleMania Dream Card episode 5 reached over 80 views, which is my highest viewed on SoundCloud. Thank you for that alone. The time has come to promote that, but that's incredible. Even though all my other podcasts may get 5 views, 10 views, even 2 views, I don't care for the 2 people that are listening. Thank you. With all that being said, you guys can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube under the name All of the Above ENT. I am Christian. Forgot to say my name in the beginning. So, how you guys doing today? I'm doing pretty good myself. Can't complain. I am Christian, the voice of the youth, and I am signing out. Thank you guys for listening.